الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وخلقناكم أطوارا. One of the causes, I won't say the main cause, one of the causes of failure of marriage, of course there's a lot of reasons. Selfishness, lack of sacrifice, lack of willing to compromise. One of the main problems is that men and women go into marriage without understanding the psychology of one another. Men go into marriage without understanding what women want, how they think, what their desires are, what hurts their feelings, and the same thing with women. They don't really understand how a man thinks, why a man performs a certain behavior. And this is very important. This is very important because a lot of times a man misunderstands a woman. He'll assume that she's doing something to hurt him while she's not really hurting him. This is how a woman tends to behave. And the same thing goes for the husband. The wife thinks that he's acting in a certain way on purpose, he's being stubborn just to hurt her feelings, just to get even with her. Well, that's not the case. Understanding men and women, understanding men for women, and understanding women for men is extremely crucial to build any sort of relationship. Whether it's building a relationship, building a healthy marriage, even in a business, even in a business setting. A lot of times men and women don't tend to understand each other, and a lot of times they tend to conflict inside a business. So this is an attempt to try to get into the minds of men and understand their psychology, and get in the minds of women and try to understand their psychology for them to understand one another. I don't claim to be an expert. We're learning together. I will say what I believe or what I think or what I presume, and I want you to help me as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. You might say, no, Sayid, this is not the case. So we're learning together. I don't claim to be an expert on this field. I'm only, posing possibilities and conjectures. Also, I have to say that a lot of times men think that women think just like them, and women think that a man thinks just like her. So that's where a lot of the conflicts occur. For example, I'll give you an example, but this is very simplified. We'll get deeper. For example, if a husband is really tired, he's tired from work, he's under a lot of pressure, too many bills, the mortgage, all that, and he needs a vacation. But the wife, her job is fine. She's not under a lot of pressure. The kids aren't doing so bad. She doesn't need a vacation. The husband, he needs a vacation. He thinks that everyone else needs a vacation. So he decides on going on a trip. While the wife, she could wait until, winter break or Christmas. She doesn't need one. He needs one. He thinks that everyone else needs one. Here there's going to be a conflict. He wants something where she doesn't, or it could be the opposite. We tend to think that others think like us. And that's where we have a conflict. طيب. I think one of the differences, and it's good to know, one of the differences between men and women is the need for change. Of course, I'm generalizing. For every rule, there's exceptions. You might hear me and think, well, I'm not like this. You might be right. I'm speaking generally. Someone told me that make sure that this workshop is not stereotypical. I told him, how? It has to be stereotypical. It's built on stereotypes. Not stereotypes, but generalizations. It's built on generalizations. So there's definitely an exception to every rule. The need for change. Women tend to prefer change once in a while. Once in a while. Things can get quite boring. That's why you see a great deal of women, once in a while, the furniture has to change. Even though the furniture is not that old. I mean, it's quite useful. I mean, it's not worn out. But after 3 years, 4 years, the wife begins to complain, I mean, we have to change the furniture. Sometimes the furniture doesn't have to be changed all at once, but things have to be changed. This sofa comes over here, that comes over there, this closet, let's move it over here. And the husband will say, well, I mean, what's the point? Things are fine the way they are. What's the need for this couch? This couch has, it's been comfortable for me for the past 10 years. For men, they could sit on the same couch for 15 years and they won't complain. While women, they have the need to change. With kitchen supplies, things in the kitchen, in the cupboard, things have to change once in a while. Otherwise, if it becomes a routine, if things remain the same, it gets very boring. It gets very boring. Life will become very tiring. That small change can have an effect. It has an effect on a woman's life, even though it's not a big deal. The closet or a cupboard or whatever moved from here to there. For a man, it could be irritating. But for a woman, it's crucial because it brought some change. Right? So this is an area of conflict. Men don't understand that. Don't understand that women need some change in their life. They'd like to get out of their routine, whether at home, whether it deals with furniture, with their looks, maybe a haircut, dyeing their hair. There has to be some sort of change. While for a man can continue doing the same thing over and over again for years. That's why you see men get the same exact haircut for 20 years. They don't change. They don't go to a different barber. They'll get the same exact haircut and they like it. They don't mind. While for women, it makes a difference. Another thing that women need to understand about men. Men, I see a lot of women, they complain about this. They say that my husband, in the first year or 2 years or 3 years, he was romantic. He would express himself. He would say the sentence, I love you, a lot. And then all of a sudden, it begins to diminish. After 5 years, he says it, only twice a year. On my birthday and on my anniversary. If he remembers that. If she's lucky and if he remembers the anniversary. That's if he remembered. Otherwise, he tends not to express himself. While women, on the other hand, they enjoy expressing themselves. They don't mind telling their husbands every day, expressing to him, to reassure him that they love him. Why? Because they need the reassurance for themselves. They want to hear this sentence, so they say it to the husband, hoping that hopefully he'll understand to say it to them as well. What happens is, after a while, men don't express their love. It doesn't have to be simply with words. Even the romantic gestures of buying flowers or it's a small gift, men tend to forget. Unfortunately, they tend to forget. A wife doesn't expect jewelry, expensive jewelry all year long. No, sometimes it's a small gesture, but it makes a world of a difference. A world of a difference in a wife's life. It shows appreciation. Men don't understand that. They don't get that. They don't get that a simple word, it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't cost any time. A simple gesture, a small gift, a small flower, you get it from your neighbor's garden, for God's sake. And you bring it to your wife, she might, from your neighbor's garden. But it makes a difference. It makes a difference. At the same time, women also have to understand that yes, a man might not express himself. He's not used to saying the word "I love you." I'm infatuated with you. You're the only woman that I can think of in my life. I'm crazy about you. Yeah, they're not good in these statements and their words.
Are you married?
I am married. So I know what I'm talking about. However, men, yes, men, they think that by providing, by going to work for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, maybe even working overtime and making money and bringing that money home, or as they say, bringing bread home, they think that that's an expression of love. A lot of times I see husbands, they say, why can't you see that I love you? Am I not working? Am I not paying off the credit cards? Didn't I take you on a vacation? He thinks that by doing this, by providing and protecting his wife and protecting the needs of his family, that's enough of an expression of love. I assure you that a lot of men, they're willing to sacrifice their life for their woman. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of men, if his wife is in trouble, she might be diagnosed with cancer, he might wish that it was done to him and not to his wife. But he doesn't know how to express himself. The idiot does not come and say that, I wish it was me, not you. Even though deep down inside he might believe in that, but he doesn't know how to express himself. Men, usually, of course, there are some men, of course you see them on TV, they're great in expressing themselves, but that's just TV. That's just movies and TV series. That's not real. In reality, men are not good in expressing themselves, unlike women. They're good at expressing themselves. So the result, the moral, is that just because after 5 years, 10 years of marriage, he doesn't say, I love you, I'm crazy about you, it doesn't mean that he really isn't. He probably is very in love with you. He's very much crazy about you, but he doesn't know how to say it. He doesn't know how to express it. There's some men that, take care of the kids, they change diapers, they'll babysit. They think that that's their way of expressing their love and appreciation and gratitude. Also, I'm saying this from personal experience. A lot of men and women, we human beings, we grow every day. Both sides.
Yeah, you cannot expect only on one side.
On one side. And I could safely say that we humans, we grow every day. Every year that passes by, we learn things that we didn't know previously. Whether as Muslims, we learn new things, whether at a business, you learn things and you pick up experience, or whether as husband and wife. I think after 10, 15 years after the marriage, some husbands do end up becoming more romantic because they learned. They learn more about their wives. They learn more about the psychology of a woman. I've seen some husbands early on, they were very dry, they were cold with their wives, but then after 20 years, all of a sudden they become, Prince Charming. They start taking their wives on dates and on honeymoons every year, a honeymoon every year. They change because they grew. They realize that a woman is not a wall. She needs to be appreciated. She needs to be loved and told that she is loved. So you tend to see this, that in the beginning of the marriage, men, they're still young, they don't get it. After a couple of years, they get it. They get it. At the same time, the same way that a woman wants to hear the words of love, expression of love from her husband, a husband also wants to hear something. He maybe doesn't want to hear, I love you 10 times every day. No, that might not be, it's nice, but he already knows that his wife loves him. But there's something else that he wants. Most men, they want appreciation. I think what they will enjoy more than being told that they're loved is that they're appreciated. A man enjoys a wife telling him that, you know what, you've done a fabulous job for the family. You're a wonderful husband. You're a wonderful caretaker. You're a wonderful father. You know, I appreciate what you've done for the family. I think just this statement, it's worth a lot more than hearing the words, I love you. I love you, that's fine. He knows that she loves him.
But he's shouting afterwards.
But they could be shouting afterwards. But does she appreciate him? I mean, he goes to work. Of course, nowadays, women also work. But even if women work, the man feels that he's responsible, not his wife. If the wife works, that's good. And the money that she makes, she doesn't have to bring it back home to the family and spend it on the family. Even religiously, any money that a wife makes, that's her money. She decides to spend it on the family, she's doing her husband a favor religiously. She doesn't need to split up the expenses. So who's responsible? It's all the husband. He has to go to work, get up early in the morning, go to a job that maybe he likes, maybe he dislikes, maybe he's abused at work, maybe he's disrespected. At the end of the day, he gets up, he makes an effort, he makes a living, he wants to pay off the bills, he wants to go on vacations. He wants to feel that he's appreciated. A thank you once in a while will not hurt. Telling him thank you for this, thank you for that. It's a small word, really, but it makes a world of a difference in the life of a husband. He feels, you know what? My services did not go in vain. Did not go in vain. Alhamdulillah, I got up early in the morning and I worked and I came back. There's someone, my wife appreciates me. She appreciates me. She doesn't take me for granted. Of course, the same can be said about the husband and wife as well. When a husband thanks his wife, a lot of times the husband takes his wife for granted. She changes diapers, she gets up in the middle of the night with the baby, she breastfeeds, she washes dishes, she cooks, and not a single thank you. Not a single thank you. It's as if it's her duty. It's her job to do this. And if it's your job, you don't deserve a thank you. First of all, who said it's her job? Second of all, even if it's your job, don't people deserve a thank you even if it's their job? Waiters and waitresses at restaurants, when they bring our food, don't we say to them thank you, even though they're being paid to do that? What's wrong with saying thank you? If we learn to say thank you with waiters and waitresses, and why can't we say it to a husband and a wife that works so diligently? I've seen personally, when I say the word thank you, it has a tremendous effect. A tremendous effect. It's as if, she just took a vacation and she came back from a vacation. She feels so relaxed just by hearing the word thank you. Right? Because a lot of times the wife also feels underappreciated. But as soon as the husband says the words thank you, it's as if he's lifted so much burdens and troubles off her shoulders. And she'll say, no, you know what, I didn't do anything. It's a couple of words. And there's a hadith that says, من لم يشكر المخلوق لم يشكر الخالق. He who does not thank the creator, the creation, is not thanking the creator. طيب. One of the differences between men and women, and this is sometimes an area of conflict, and we touched upon this yesterday for the sisters that were with us yesterday. The need for conversation. Women, once in a while, they have a need to converse, to speak to the husband, even if they don't expect a reply from the husband. But they want to sit and talk once in a while. If they're upset over something, things are not going so well at home, problems with the kids, problems at work, they want to sit with the husband and talk. While the husband, on the other hand, he doesn't really want to talk. And I mentioned this yesterday, that when a wife says to the husband that we need to talk, he'll usually run away. He'll avoid. He'll get out of the house, he'll get busy, he'll fall asleep, because the words, we need to talk, is not something that he wants to hear. It's one of two things. Either he's in trouble, and she wants to talk to him about something stupid that he's done. Or Or she just wants to talk for an hour or two and he'd rather do something else instead of hearing his wife complain and vent and him not being able to do anything about it. So there's a conflict here. Women have the need to speak, to converse, to have a conversation once in a while, at least once a week, maybe once a day, while a husband wants to run away from that. I think the best solution is for both to understand each other. Number one, a husband has to understand that a wife wants to talk once in a while. He doesn't have to necessarily say anything. Sometimes women need listeners. She doesn't specifically want advice. In fact, sometimes a man gives bad advice. So it's better for him not to talk. So it's better just to be quiet and listen. And it's not going to kill him. It's not going to hurt him to sit and listen for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. If it's going to help her vent and take things off her chest, you should do it. At the same time, women should realize that a man is not so much into talking. Men don't like to talk, even with friends. It's not just with men and women. Do you see guys sit and chat for 2 hours straight? Do you see men talk on the phone with their friends for 2 hours? No. But women can talk on the phone for 2 hours with their friends, with their mothers, with their sisters, with their best friends for 2 hours. You know, they say as a joke that a husband saw his wife talking. The phone rang and the wife talked for 15 minutes. So when she hung up, he's like, wow, 15 minutes? Usually it's 2 hours. Usually it's an hour and a half. She said, yeah, it was a wrong number. Wrong number, and she spoke for 15 minutes. So imagine how long she speaks with a friend. Men don't do that. The longest conversation that we can have on the phone is 3 minutes. Maximum. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Maximum. Another difference between men and women, and this has been proven scientifically and biologically, that women can multitask, while men usually can't multitask. So if he's driving and his wife is complaining about work or about the kids and he's not paying attention, he's not ignoring. He's not ignoring. He's paying attention to the road. He can't both pay attention to the road and trying to get directions, get there properly, while at the same time listen to his wife, complain about something or express something or try to make plans for the future. He can't. A woman could easily do that. She could drive. She could give the milk bottle to her child sitting in the back. She could speak to her mother on the phone and yell at the other car all at once. She could do that. They have the ability to multitask and pay attention to a bunch of things all at once. I once heard one of the speakers, he says that, I once noticed my wife cooking, watching a Turkish series on TV, in the living room, not in the kitchen, speaking on the phone, and attending to the children all at once. There's a conflict when women, they multitask, so she thinks that her husband should also multitask. He could be texting on the phone and should be speaking to her, but he can't. He's either on his WhatsApp or speaking to her. He can't do both. While women, they could do that. She could give her attention to her husband when he's telling her that when I come back from work, I want my clothes ironed. She won't forget, even though she was on WhatsApp. While the husband can't. So the wife thinks that, he's always ignoring me. He never remembers. My wife tells me this all the time, that you never remember anything that I tell you. Whatever I tell you, you don't remember. I told her, hold on a second. Was I paying attention to you or was I on my phone? If I'm on my phone, all of my focus and attention is right here. So hold on, wait, let me turn it off, then speak. I can't give my attention to both you and my phone or my book while I'm reading or I'm preparing a lecture. She's telling me, for example, that tomorrow I have to go somewhere and I want you to stay home. And then I tend to forget. And she'll tell me, didn't I tell you? I told her, yeah, but I was reading my book. I wasn't paying attention. While for her, she could pay attention. Yeah, no matter what she's doing, if I tell her something, khalas, it gets stored and it's in there. She's not going to forget. This is a There's an issue of conflict. And it's important for women to understand this about men and men to understand this about women. What else? Another difference is that a lot of times, men are very simple. They're simple. As in, what they want, they'll say it. They don't beat around the bush. Except? There's exceptions? Women are a bit more complicated than this. When they want something, they don't say it, bluntly. They have their way of saying something. If they have a special desire, if they want to go somewhere, they won't just put it directly. It's a bit more complicated. And that's why men and women might not understand each other. For example, if a man is hungry, he'll say it. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. When's food ready? If he dislikes something, he'll say it right away. If he's upset, he won't hide it. If he comes back from work, he's upset, he'll say it right away. Today I had a terrible day at work. My boss was not in a good mood, and that rubbed off on me. Or I almost got in a car accident or road, whatever it is, he'll say it right away. While women, when they're upset, they don't say it right away. So, and I said this yesterday in the workshop. When a woman is upset, she looks upset, obviously. The husband, he asks her, what's wrong? Usually, she's not going to tell him what's wrong. She'll say, nothing. While she means everything. Everything is wrong. The husband, he's, okay, well, nothing's wrong? Khalas, nothing's wrong. He'll go. The wife gets upset. That why didn't you ask? Why didn't you care? He'll say, but I did. I asked you, what's wrong? You said nothing's wrong. How do I know? I don't have ilm al-ghayb that there's something. Be blunt. Be straightforward. If there's something wrong, say it. Men don't understand that. Men, a lot of them, some of them, don't understand that when a woman, she says nothing's wrong, she actually means sit down and let me tell you what's wrong. I want you to open your eyes and open your mind and open your chest and let me explain to you what you've done wrong. Yes.